Hello, I'm Martha Bess DeWitt. I had the privilege of serving as the Director of Christian Education at Westminster for 25 years. I began my work in 1985 and retired in 2010. In 1985, I responded to a job application for a half-time interim youth director. I was so nervous, but so excited. And I came, and the committee who talked with me were wonderful folks who turned out to be good friends. Jane McDowell, Linda Kuhn, and Annette Stone, who many of you will not remember, but they were there for a while and very active in youth ministry. I got the job and I loved it. I worked for a year, and the next summer, while I was at Montreat, I thought I was coming back to no job because Westminster had hired the Reverend David Montgomery to be the minister for youth ministry at Westminster. But when I came back, I found that Nancy Smith, who was my predecessor, had resigned because she had accepted a position with the Presbytery of Arkansas to be the presbytery educator. I was invited to transition from half-time interim youth to full-time interim director of Christian education with responsibility for children and adult ministries. I did that job. I was so excited. I loved it. I loved the people I've worked with, but I was waiting to hear from the committee to see who they hired to take the real job. And then they offered it to me. And I was just thrilled to begin my permanent full-time ministry at Westminster. I loved the people I worked with. I loved the staff. And I will forever be grateful to Casey Tomey for offering me opportunities and encouraging me to try things in ministry that I never dreamed I would be able to do, or as a non-ordained person, be allowed to do. I had leadership in worship. I wrote prayers for the people. I had opportunities to officiate, co-officiate at services of the witness to the resurrection for some people who had been dear, dear friends of mine. All such meaningful things. And I began doing hospital ministry, hospital visitation, which I had never done before, but learned that I loved it all the time, except the one day I got the church van stuck in the Vanderbilt parking garage under a concrete beam that went across the top. I was in a little bit of trouble for that, but my good friends came to my rescue and got me out, and it turned out to be okay. I never drove the church van to hospital visitation again. Wonderful things happened while I was there, and I had so many wonderful people who helped. We began the Godly Play program, which was new to our area, and I had done extensive training at workshops and conferences about this wonderful program for teaching young children about worship by helping them experience it. Carol Ann Graham was instrumental in getting all our myriad of materials together. And my sweet husband, Mike DeWitt, cut out all the first wooden figures for all the first stories. We began workshop rotation model for elementaries in Sunday school. That was the big new thing in children's education. And it was so exciting. We had participation and cooperation from the entire congregation. We had a computer room, a cooking room, an art room, a science room, a video room, a drama room. It goes on. And the whole congregation came to the upstairs of that wing and helped us paint walls. The fifth graders even studied Leviticus because they were in the Old Testament room and painted on one end of the room the description that Leviticus offers us about what the temple might have looked like. It was all just wonderful. Bible stories, murals, flowers, planets in the science room. It was glorious. and teachers came out of the woodwork to be shepherds and teachers. It was wonderful. I could not have done it without 100% support, and I had that. I am so grateful. We wrote, after a great deal of study, the first safe sanctuary policy. And again, my gratitude to Denise Devane for being the person who did all the study work, presented it to the committee, had invited speakers from the police and insurance company and other churches. Together, we found films to show the committee, and we put together a policy so that we could be confident that our children would be always safe in our sacred space. The group that offered me the most support over the years started out as a Friday morning Bible study group of women in the library. When I began to ask for Fridays as my day off instead of Thursday, they graciously transitioned, though not happily, some of them, to Thursday morning Bible study, and the group continued. We met in homes for lunches when there was something to celebrate. We met in homes full time when the church was being renovated. We studied the Bible, the lectionary passages for that Sunday. But most of all, they were a sounding board for me. I often came in and said, I'm about to do this thing. Let me tell you, and what do you think? And they always had such wonderful responses, such good friends. I celebrate all the memories I have of my time at Westminster. And thank you for allowing me to be part of this celebration. I know that even as you, celebrate 150 years of ministry as Westminster Presbyterian Church, you're doing some visioning for looking ahead. Let me just say, as a reminder, though every one of you knows this, worship is the heart of Westminster. Worship is what draws and holds people. The magnificent music, the superb preaching, the attention to diligent study of Scripture, the inclusion of children and everyone who is there becomes the foundation on which we always built, and I'm confident will always build.